Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ella if you're new here, and today's video is gonna be about passing my driving test, baby. I passed. I'm so relieved to just have got it out of the way. Never have to take any more driving lessons in my life. I'm so happy. And this video is aimed towards anyone who's trying to pass as well, anyone who's got their test coming up, anyone who's gonna book their test soon. I thought I'd do a video with a few of my tips on what helped me. I binge watched a bunch of these videos before I did my driving test, and they really helped, so I thought I'd make one to add to the collection. I have a whole story behind the drama that surrounds my driving test. Getting a driving test in the UK is so hard at the moment. I think the wait in London is like 2 years. So a lot of driving instructors have connections with people who, I guess, book a lot of tests and then resell them on for like quadruple the price, which is not great, but you got to do what you got to do unless you want to wait for 2 years. If you've got the money, then you're just going to do it, aren't you? Which is what I did. So I set myself the goal at the beginning of the year, or in like, when was it? Maybe in May. I was like, my mum called me actually because I drive a Vespa. My mum's been desperate to get me off the Vespa because she's just so worried every time I'm on it. And she said, she's going to get an automatic car and is going to give me her old car. So if I pass my driving test, I can have a car, which is her way of like bribing me off the Vespa. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, I would probably never buy my own car just because I already had a way of getting round, but this was the perfect excuse. So I booked some lessons. I was so nervous for the first couple of lessons. My driving instructor was okay. Kind of like would get kind of overwhelmed and confused with some of the things he was saying, but you know, I was all right. I've already done driving lessons before 8 years ago now, and I did a test then and I failed. And then I've been riding on my Vespa, so it didn't take me long to pick it up. So I booked 10 hours, and then on the week of my test, my driving instructor pulled out. And so I had to get another driving instructor, learn to drive in a new car the week before my test, turn up to my test, and my test was cancelled. Someone had cancelled my test. So all of that, I was so stressed. I think I actually am really lucky because I turned up to my first test that was cancelled so nervous. I was so nervous. I was like shaking with nerves. I hadn't slept all night. I'd been up, ready and raring to go. And then it was cancelled. So then I had to book it again for like 3 weeks' time. And the second time round, I think just because I'd had that full start, I felt a lot more just like, whatever. It is not the end of the world if I fail. It's a lot of money to waste, which is the most annoying thing, but whatever. I'll book another one. I'm just going to go and drive how I drive, do my best. What will be, will be. And I think that attitude really helped. Just going and not like placing the weight of the world on the test. You know, it's not the end of the world if you fail. Going with that sort of mentality is automatically going to make you less nervous, which is definitely going to help you in your test, because nerves are the #1 thing that make people fail in their driving tests. And so if you can try and calm your nerves in any way that you possibly can, do something relaxing the days before your test. I had some CBD just before my test. I've heard Rescue Remedy is supposed to be really good as well. I heard about having a banana online through some of these videos that I was watching, so I was just like, yeah, I'm going to do that. No idea about the science behind it. I think it's something to do with the potassium levels, but like, I just had a banana because I heard it might help me pass my test. So even just for like mentally being like, oh, I've had my banana, like maybe I'll pass. I feel like that was kind of good as well. So turn up to the driving test centre, you wait to be called out. They called my name the second time around. The first time they didn't. They were like, why are you here? You've not got a test. And I was like, huh? But the second time they did call out my name. make sure you bring your driving license. That is the one thing that you can't forget, your provisional. Make sure you bring that. That is all in date and fine. Just double check all of that, just because the disappointment of not being able to do your test when you've already booked it and have turned up for it is just next level. It's almost like worse than failing. So just make sure you've got all of the things that you need. Have a good breakfast before your test. I had my test on Wednesday at 8 in the summer holidays, so the roads were really quiet, which really helped with me. I guess it's kind of like a toss-up. Is it better for the roads to be quiet or really busy and you just be stuck in traffic the whole test? I found it was better for the roads to be quiet. I felt pretty confident in my driving, but you know, as soon as you actually get into that test environment, all of my confidence kind of went out of the window, and I was like just trying to take some deep breaths and like act as confident as I possibly could, because the one thing that they want to see is confidence, not cockiness, but the driving test examiner wants to be at ease in the car with you. You know, it's not nice being in the car with someone who's like clearly very nervous and like not on it, and they're more likely to kind of step in or feel uncomfortable. And if your driving instructor or test examiner is feeling uncomfortable in your car, you're not going to pass. So you need to make them, even if you're faking it, believe that you are confident, you've got this, like you're at ease. If you feel like it might help you, make a bit of small talk with them. I didn't talk for the first like 30 minutes of my test. No, probably like the first 20 minutes. I did my first 20 minutes with the sat nav, which was fine. I quite like that actually. We didn't chat, I just drove. I stalled, which I was a bit annoyed about because it was like near a roundabout, and I recovered fine, but I was wondering whether that would be a fail. It didn't fully get me, but like I was like, oh shit, like hope that's not ruined it for me. And then came my manoeuvre, which was a parallel park, which I'm absolutely fine with. Every other time that I've done it, perfect job, like brilliant, Ella, that's exactly what we want. The day of my test, I don't know what took over me, but I just did the worst parallel park of my entire life. Like I bumped into the curb a little bit and I was like, oh, fuck, like I feel like I've hit the curb. I was like, can I go forward? You can go forward. I knew I could go forward, but I just was kind of like getting flustered. So if you do a manoeuvre and you mess it up a little bit, correct it. You can correct it, you can go forward, you can go back again, like it doesn't matter. As long as you finish the manoeuvre in a safe, and you do it in a safe way, you can correct it, you know. They're not going to be like super strict on if you've done one mistake, then that's it, you've just failed. You're human and they know that. So I bumped into the curb a little bit. I didn't go up on the curb, but I bumped into it, went forward, went back, and then I kind of like lost track of where my steering wheel was. And I was like, I can't figure out how many turns I've done. And anyway, I did it. I parked up. I was completely flustered. And my driving instructor was like, okay, take a deep breath, open up the window. You're fine. Just like chill out a little bit. I was like, okay, yeah, good idea. So I did. Had a little breather, which is another massive tip, is that on your test, if you're feeling super overwhelmed during any moment, when it's safe to do so, you can ask, do you mind if I just pull up? And you can have a minute just to like breathe and like chill out, and they will allow that. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to ask questions. If you're following the sat nav and it tells you to go somewhere and you're not quite sure, you can say, is it this left here? And they'll say yes or no. Like you can speak to them like a normal person. They will answer, you know. They're not allowed to give feedback or anything, but in terms of directions, if you make the wrong turn or if you're not sure which turn it is, you can ask. If you make the wrong turn, it's no big deal. You're not going to fail over stuff like that. As long as you're doing everything safely, that's all they want to see. Something that helped me massively before doing my test. Like I said, I only had, in recent years, I only had, I think it was like 11 hours before my test, which didn't feel like enough really. But you know, I just wanted to get it out of the way. And what helped me massively, I binge watched loads of YouTube videos following test routes of driving instructors driving around explaining what their students are doing. I'm going to link a few of the channels that I was binge watching below. I found them really helpful. On TikTok as well, there's lots of them. You can look up your area that you're going to be doing your driving test in and look at the routes. I also downloaded this test routes app, which I did pay for. I think it was like £11 or something for a month. And on my Vespa, I drove around some of the test routes, and that really helped as well. And if you have a car that you're learning to drive in, like your parents' car, or you're learning to drive with someone other than your driving instructor will most likely take you on these routes as well. But if you can go on the routes by yourself, just to familiarise yourself with the area, that is really helpful. I would really strongly advise doing a driving test in an area that you already know, because it's automatically going to make things just that little bit easier for you. Other than that, getting a good night's sleep, trying to stress as little as possible, making sure that you feel ready. Even though I say I only had 11 hours, because I'd been on the roads so much, I did feel ready. All I really had to learn was how to drive the actual car and the gears and everything, which I'd learnt before. So making sure that you feel comfortable is going to be a massive help. You don't want to be turning up to the test like feeling like you don't even remember what to do with the gears and stuff. You want to know what you're doing. And just kind of going in with that attitude of, if I pass, great. Or go in with the attitude of, I'm going to pass. But if I don't, it's not the end of the world. Like, I can do it again and again and again and again. All of my best friends have taken 4 tests before passing. They've all passed on their 4th driving test. So not passing on your first time is so normal. Not passing on your second time, your 3rd, your 4th, your 5th, doesn't matter. The main thing is that you're safe on the roads. If you don't pass, you're not safe, and it's the best thing for everyone for you to go back and do some more lessons and come back again. Maybe it's just your nerves, come back again, try and get rid of some of those nerves before your test. I know it's easier said than done, but kind of follow the things that I've said. And yeah, if you don't pass, it's really not the end of the world. You can do another one. That's the best bit about driving tests. If you don't pass, try again. You know, it's not a one-time thing. You can try it again and again until you do pass. And the moment you do pass, it'll all be worth it. So I'm wishing you all the best of luck. Let me know if you've got your test dates booked. What area are you doing them in? I did mine in Wood Green. Yeah, like driving in London is not my favourite, but it is what it is. Good luck, everyone. I hope this video was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it was, and I'll see you in my next video. I've also got a video all about my theory and things that I found helpful for that, so check that out if you want. I will link that somewhere. But yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.